Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nobody's podcast. My name is Jonty, and I am introing and maybe hosting this one.
Yeah.
Today I have Mark and Nathaniel with me, as per usual.
Our homeboy Jonty's taking the wheel, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he had an idea.
Yeah, and today I think we should talk about how to reinvent yourself. That's a big topic, I reckon.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, I think what I'm trying to talk about is, let's say you're 18, you've had not a midlife crisis because you're 18, but you're thinking
Midlife crisis in the Middle Ages.
midlife
crisis.
A midlife crisis is like when you're 40s, right?
Yeah.
Midlife, duh. But you're like, you want to do something radical. You want to do this, and you want to reinvent your life. So let's say hypothetically you run away, or you move out, or any of this. How do you do that? And I think the first step is having a car. Could be a shitbox, because if you don't have much money, like, you could be working like a dead end job, but you could still have a car to sleep in at least.
That's
like,
true.
This is the bare minimum, because if you're going to run away and then live on the streets,
If
I
we're
don't know how wise
talking,
that is.
if we're talking going off the grid, I can tell you how to do that. If we're talking about running away, I don't know.
off the grid, yeah, like
Oh,
get a
wow,
new
that'd
identity.
be beautiful.
Is it hard to get like a new? No,
It's okay. Well, getting off the grid isn't that hard.
but getting a new identity.
Getting a new identity can be difficult, but if you go through the black market, it won't be that hard.
There's a lot of steps to actually like be able to do all this.
Well, yeah, no. What's like identity theft is like $60 in the black market. Like it's not stupidly expensive.
And where is this black markup?
It's on Sundays.
Yeah,
just down in
it's just right
Penrith.
around the corner. They have a market. as
Yeah.
well. They have a little pop-up shop. for the
They're all
black
dressed in
market.
little robes.
I don't think it's as conventional.
Do you
as
want
that.
some wares? Do you want any fake IDs?
I think, well, for me, reinventing yourself is more of a, well, I'm a very philosophical person, but I think it's more of a internal thing.
Yeah, because you've got to be able to realize what's wrong with yourself for you to be able to make changes on that.
Or even just change yourself. I think it's, I'll get into that a bit later. I'll let you guys talk first on that. But, I would say to reinvent yourself, you just, in my opinion, it's a matter of
It's a
perspective.
lot of introspection,
Yeah.
and be able to be like, oh well, this is what's wrong with me. Do I need a new start, or am I just kind of bugging out? Because a
Yeah.
lot of people, they'll think like, oh, I'm not doing too well at this. I'm not doing too well. All my friends hate me. Let's fucking just completely make a radical decision and like blah blah blah. Completely change my life. Fuck my parents off. Move out. Start working like 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then like at some shit job, and then they're like, no, but like I have my own independence, which doesn't really make too much sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Like
get
that, I don't think that's really reinventing yourself. Well, I mean, technically it is, but I mean that's probably not the smartest way to go.
It's
about
not. I would say it's not a reinvention of yourself, just purely because
You're
not.
still kind of sticking to what you know.
Yeah. You're not changing yourself at all. You're just changing. You're not changing yourself. You're changing the environment.
Yeah.
You're changing how
Which
you
is
surround
a
yourself.
part of it, but it's
Yeah,
not
it's
the focal point.
It's a part, but that changing of the environment more comes naturally, like after you've changed yourself.
Yeah, because it's inevitable that the environment's going to change, and being able to just hurry and be like, oh, I'm going to make some decision to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Do you believe that you would like to or need to reinvent yourself? Have you ever reinvented yourself?
I don't think I've reinvented myself, but I feel like I've changed a lot. A lot of people have changed. Of course,
yeah.
it could take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 2, 4, 8 years. But I reckon in the past year I've changed a lot. And people like who I've been my closest friends would say like, nah, bro, you are exactly the same. But people who I haven't seen in a year
Yeah.
think I'm a completely like different
Well,
person.
yeah.
And once again, it's about the perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's like
true.
a lot of people. And that's just because people kind of just do their own like life course. But I haven't passively, not passively, I haven't like actively tried to be like, all right, well, I'm going to reinvent myself. But I have tried to improve.
Yeah.
Like I feel like every person has or should.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, because you don't particularly notice it yourself that you're changing. Like, especially...
Unless you try to.
Yeah, unless it's an active decision. But certainly, like, recently, I've thought back on things that I harbored a lot of anger about. And I was like, ah, shit, no, that was actually all my bad. Like, I was just like, I didn't understand, like minute details about certain things, and I was just being a dickhead. But I didn't realize that. And, like, I think maturity is a key part of, like, change in a person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that, I guess. Quite a few times in my life thus far. I'm only 19 years old. Wow, I'm about to get real deep. It's like, what, 5 minutes in?
It's like fucking 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I have actively reinvented myself. Like, actively.
Yeah.
Like, attempted, like, made the decision to try.
Yeah.
And I'll get more into that later, but, like, yeah.
If we're talking about how to, how do you think you should? I think it all starts with appreciation.
Appreciation.
Appreciation
that
of
down for
yourself?
Of yourself, your situation, the things around you, and not being able to take stuff for granted. Because when you look around, like, the stuff, like, you could easily go to bed. Let's do a little exercise. You're going to bed. You're lying in your bed, and you're thinking about all the shit that sucks in your life, and you're worrying, and you're all this, and then you kind of forget, like, oh, like, I have a full, like, wardrobe of, like, clothes. I have 3-4 pairs of shoes that I can go swag up in tomorrow. I can do all this. I can do that if I try it. I have a podcast I want to film. I have this. And then once you think that, you're like, oh shit, maybe it's not that bad. And then you get in a better mindset of being able to be like, all right, well, this isn't that bad, but
Absolutely.
I want more, and I can do more. And if I take these steps, which by these steps, it's not like do this and do that. It's personalized for whoever.
Yeah.
So if you do the things that you think will make yourself become the better person in a week or in 2 months, I feel like that's basically already a form of reinventing yourself.
I agree.
Yeah, well, that's like, to some extent, like, I agree, but I also disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think while that is a very helpful mindset to have, I think the first step is actually dissatisfaction. Because as much as, like, having a positive mindset about what you have...
Dissatisfaction as opposed to appreciation?
Yes.
Right.
I think if you're dissatisfied... Like if you just focus on what you appreciate, then you can be like, I can ignore that kind of stuff. But, like, when you're, like, truly dissatisfied with certain aspects, you can be like, shit, this is good, but, like, I'm not happy.
But I think that's more or less like progression. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what you're trying to say. Let's say you want to lose 10 kilos, and then you look at yourself in the mirror, and you're like, oh, I'm not 150 kilos, I'm fine. But if you want to make progress, the dissatisfaction of you saying, well, I'm not where I want to be, no matter how much that is. That's where progress, apart from reinvention, is.
Is there a difference, though?
I think there is, because sometimes reinvention isn't progress. Like, if you think, if you want to run away from home and start living in your car for 6 months while you're earning money to get yourself this and that, that's reinvention, but you're not really making progress because you've just lost your whole, like, all your
security,
your networking, your, like, communal ties to everything, just so you can kind of hone in on what you think is going to be good for you. And if that doesn't work out, you can't always guarantee that you're going to have that security back.
Yeah, no, you got a point there.
Yeah, my first step, other than dissatisfaction and appreciation, the very first step, in my opinion, and I'm going to quote a philosopher called Ram Dass here. A lot of people might know about him. And he said, be here now.
Be here now, yeah.
Yeah. In essence, that means, we could do a little exercise if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So, yeah,
jacks?
just, like, close your eyes and listen, right? Just, like, listen to everything around you. If you're in a dark room or, like, you're just in a quiet room, just listen to the silence of it all and just be in that moment. Like, try to focus as hard as you can on the right here, right now, and stop for a second, because that's what you are right now at the moment, you know?
The physical.
That's you, you know? And everything that's on your mind isn't you. It's in your mind. It might have happened or whatever, but it's not you. So if you're there now, then you can think, okay, it's the start. It's the foundation, you know? That's how you get a grip on yourself. And then when you look at yourself in such a clear way, I think that's where you can start to reinvent your actual character.
I think
my opinion on this whole thing is more internal rather than changing things. It's like altering your perspectives based on introspective. That's just me.
Well, that's a... Sorry, do you have something to say?
No, you're good.
Okay, well, that seems to be... and something I do see quite often when like I look at this kind of stuff. It's a lot about meditation.
Absolutely.
I've never done meditation, but I've heard it's very helpful for other people. I don't know how to properly get to that point.
I understand like why meditation is good, but just like personally, it's super difficult for me to concentrate. Like I just it's hard to sit still for that long for me. Like it's just I understand why it's so good, but just I just can't have it as an integral part of my day.
As a part of my everyday, no, but I have done it, and I do intend to do it from time to time. Mm-hmm. It is hard to focus, but it's more about... The goal would be to clear your mind of everything, so you can just observe yourself in your natural environment. God, I sound like... Yeah, okay. But,
yeah,
a good method to do is just focus on the nothingness. What I do is I, like, envision a tree in my mind and just focus on the tree and then try and simplify it as much as possible. So now it's a 2D tree. Now there's only 2 colors. It looks like a Minecraft tree.
Yeah, and then you build this image in your head, and that's the way that it
and then you slow it, break it down. Yeah,
it's extremely hard to like picture images though if that's not how you think.
I think so visually. That's
I can think very visually as well. Yeah, I remember when for my I guess you could say course of reinvention or whatever, right? One thing I had to realize was I'm a very stubborn person, and it's do you mind pouring me a glass as well?
Yeah, no worries. Don't mind us, just pouring water.
Stop pissing.
Yeah, I had to realize I'm a very stubborn person, and there's a lot of things that like I won't back down from, even though I I know I'm too far deep and I know I'm wrong now, but like I'm just like it's just me, right? But that's where it's like well, I don't think I can try not to be as stubborn in situations, but I just can't remove that from me. So when you become, that's what I mean by like appreciation. You don't have to appreciate like the shitty things about you, but you can almost understand them and like be like, oh, this is why I am. Understand how it is. If I'm not hurting anyone with it, then I mean, who is anyone else to really say like, oh, you're doing it wrong? That's what I think.
That's true. But that being said, sometimes even if you're not doing anything wrong,
it can be.
Well, yeah, but also there might be something really pleasant about you, but depending on your circumstances, like if you're in high school and you want to be a cooler kid, you want more attention or something like that, you might try to rebuild yourself or reinvent yourself, as we're talking about, for the wrong reasons. I've done that.
Yeah. Negative. It's almost like the horde mentality. Like you're just like, oh well, this is how everyone is. I want to be a part of that, so I'll just do what they're doing.
I'm sorry. I keep on accidentally interrupting. I think a lot of the time, people like it's all about obviously self-improvement and like changing yourself. It's all about acquiring something you don't have.
Yeah.
It's like that's all about like, but sometimes things are just too farcical to grasp. Like there's no way you're going to be able to like realistically acquire them by yourself.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like,
can I have an example?
Trying to improve yourself for social popularity.
Right.
That's out of your control for the most part. You may think it is.
Exactly.
You may think that like, oh, if I wear this, do this, act this way, drink this, drive this, then I'll be sick. But it's just like, no, it's like people should see you for you. And then once you, again, appreciate that, you can kind of take the step and be like, all right, well, now I know what I want and I can do what I want.
Yeah, we have 3 people on this table who are like completely different in high school.
Oh man.
Like Mark was cool with everyone. No one was opposed to Mark. Jonty was in with, I don't even know how to describe
different people. Like we just have different like friend groups, and I was really liked by some people and I was also disliked by others.
You're a very polarizing person.
Yeah, because that's just how I am.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm as polarizing anymore because I've realized that like not a lot of people appreciate the shitty things that I do.
Yeah.
Which by shitty things I mean it's just like annoying tendencies. Like someone's like, hey, good morning, and I'm like, hey, good morning. Why don't you hear me out? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Like that's funny to me. But like, it's just
I
like,
remember-
I can't go up to random people that I don't know that well and just instantly pretend I'm comfortable with them.
Yeah, well, like I remember when Mark was like, he was like, "Oh, we should consider having John T on the podcast," and I was like, I was
Yeah.
like,
Everyone's like, oh fuck.
I was like, that's a mad idea, but fuck off.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, John T's cool, but he's kind of a dickhead sometimes.
Yeah, no, like,
And I just realized it's just, it doesn't bother me at all. But it was just like you were always like so, like poignant.
Chappy, yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, don't remember whether I asked. Could you remind me,
Yeah,
please?
yeah.
And I was like,
See,
fuck.
I
this
like
dude.
I like to think that I understand people pretty well, and like you said about that whole polarizing shit, you've
Yeah.
always been like that for me, even before I was even that close. But I knew it was just like cool.
Yeah. I
So-
try like. I don't really want to actually like hurt someone. When someone would like tell me like oh like why were you being like such a dick, and I'm like, fuck, maybe I was. but before it used to take me a lot to get there. But I feel like like yeah, and my whole mentality was like, oh well, like I take it, so why can't I give it out? And I'm like, well, I take it from these people. I don't always.
Yeah.
I don't take it from these innocent, nice,
yeah.
kind people, and I'm just kind of just like a bit of a dick. But yeah, as you mature, and that's when I was like 16, 17. I'm going to turn 19 in a couple months. Like,
Yeah.
completely different.
Well, I mean,
Completely
yeah.
different.
When I was that age, like that was just all I knew from you in class, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, this dude's really fucking aggressive. And
No, aggressive's a bit, but I would definitely say polarizing is a bit.
I wasn't super comfortable with who I was
Jarring.
back then. Yeah.
Yeah, jarring, yeah.
So especially like having someone that was always on my case, I was like, fuck this dude. But like now that we're out of school and now that things are fine, now that I'm more comfortable about who I am, it's like it doesn't bother me, like regardless of whether you do it now, because I know you don't mean it like aggressively.
Yeah, and a lot of it was like I was never really like an unhappy person, but I wasn't really just like calm. I don't mean to put the attention on me,
It's all right.
but
It's
I wasn't always just like where I wanted to be. So I was just kind of like ignored it, and I was just like, fuck you. But I was always kind of just like happy without needing all the stuff that I kind of wanted. And then there was like a halfway point where I'm like, all right, well, I'm not as happy. I don't have this stuff. I don't have I don't act the way I want to. I don't work hard enough. And then once you kind of fix those, you're like, oh well, everything else kind of falls into place. Like when you're working hard and you're doing this, you don't really have time to get stuck into everyone else's lives and their societies and their problems and being like, oh, this person did this. What? No way. Like that's just kind of just like shit that I don't feel like really needs to be talked about unless it's in your inner circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've kind of got away from the topic of reinventing yourself.
It's cool. Going off that high school example, or like the popularity thing, I believe you can do things to make yourself more appealing to other people.
Popularity, is like this fabricated thing. It's like this made up like idea. It's more or less, do people enjoy your company? Do people like you? And popularity is literally just like the herd mentality. And it's like popularity doesn't exist after high school. I don't
That's
think.
true.
Oh, absolutely.
That popularity is not a thing. It's whether or not a group of people or an individual likes you.
I think it's in your own head.
It's it's the point
Yeah.
that the reason it exists so prevalently in high school, because it's like 5 years with the same people, maybe a few go, maybe a few come.
Yeah.
But through that whole time, you're stuck with those 5 people. Whether you talk to them or not, they're generally in your vicinity. Once you leave, people like fuck off into so many different groups.
Yeah.
Like straight up, I'm at uni, I haven't talked to at least 99% of the people there, at least, and those are just the people in my class.
Yeah.
So like everything, like it's just so disconnected after high school.
Yeah, people
that
that I
nothing
see
matters.
like in our year or the year above or below. Like I was at the gas station. Yes, this is a cute little story before work. My Domino's little thing,
Oh.
right? I put in gas and I fucking forgot my wallet. I left it at home because I was in a rush. So I'm like already in a shitty mood, and there's this chick in front of me with who's like waiting, like she's like talking about buying tobacco. She's like, oh, should I get the 15 gram or the 25 gram? And then she's like, for like 2-3 minutes, she's just like figuring out, she's like, but how much is this? How much is that? And I'm like, come on, like, can you please just fucking buy your tobacco and just get, like, move? Like, it's not that deep. Then it turns around, it's just someone from the year above. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was just pissed at you. And I'm like, I was like,
Wait.
you're wasting my time. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, oh, I know who you are. And I'm like, this is like 15, 20 minutes away from like anywhere that I've seen this person before.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, what a small fucking world we live in. Zoots off in their Corolla. And then I catch you later.
I'd like to... I think that... Actually, no, I'll be going too off topic if I mention this, so I'll save it for another podcast.
All right.
But...
Anyway, going on what I was saying, that's a very good example of the whole high school thing. And I think, like, the majority of people in, I don't know, the civilization we live in have very similar, occurrences. I know in high school everybody does. They all think about their image and stuff like that.
Leaving high school for most people, if high school isn't the only thing you have, most people leaving high school, there's at least some form of reinvention.
Absolutely.
Everyone. Because a lot of people,
Absolutely.
high school is their peak. That is, they had friends, they had sport, they had this, they had that. And I'm not saying this with anyone in mind, but there's a lot of people that kind of think like, oh my God, like nothing's going to be better from here on out. Which is just kind of just like a sad thing to hear, because it's like, oh my God, like it's literally only going to get better from here
straight
on
up.
out. And
Yeah.
That's
Again,
why...
perspective. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Like, everything is perspective. In high school, there was quite a period of time in year 12, for example. I thought, well, shit, after that, I'll manage, I'll be okay. I wasn't, like, really sad or anything. I'm just like, these will be the best days of my life. You know? I don't believe that anymore. It's just, it's very easy to believe that. And then it's a matter of reinventing yourself, or trying to.
yeah,
I believe we reinvent ourselves all the time.
Absolutely.
we can reinvent ourselves right now.
Hey, I'm French.
Maybe.
If you're asking how to do it, I think a good strategy would be like, you need to really, really break down all your thoughts and like what's pissing you off.
You've got to
like
stop focusing on materialistic wealth, and then instead focus on your mental health.
Yes.
Oh, it rhymes.
Cheeky rhyme there for you.
A little
Absolutely.
bit of a 1-2 punch there.
That's probably a very good way to start. A lot of introspection, a lot of like personal like you've got to be able to like have a conversation with yourself, and like if something's like worrying you, have the ability to be like, why, like, okay, why am I worried with this?
Asking why.
How can I stop this? And how can I come, if I can't stop it, how can I come to peace with it? And like being able to have that conversation, that like fluidity and like with yourself, I feel like that's the first step. And then you can basically do whatever you want.
Would you like to know a little strategy on how to know yourself better like that?
Sure.
Here's something I do.
Ket.
I do ketamine.
I go out the back of a KFC.
Sniff a bunch of Ket.
I consume magic mushrooms every day. So ask yourself why. Okay, so I'll give you a little example. Say I'm pissed off that I'm waiting. I don't know. I'm mad at this guy, right, who talks too much.
Kill him.
And then I'm like, okay, so why am I angry at the guy who's talking too much? And then you come to the answer as they come to you. So why am I mad?
Because I want to speak.
Because he's talking too much. And why is that a problem?
Is it annoying, or do I want to be able to say something and I can't because of him?
Well,
like,
then you go, well, why is
as
it a
an
problem?
example, yeah.
So then you say, oh, well, maybe it's a problem because I want to get something out and he's not letting me. And then why does that negatively hurt me? Because I feel there's something I need to convey to him. And why is that important? Then you're like,
Ego.
Because I care about him, or it's because ego, or it's because I'm just like the sound of my own voice. But it'll help you break down. It'll help you learn about yourself very easily.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to be able to like yourself and like all these things, and appreciate this and do that, I feel like that's all good. But like I feel like that, like if you just want to be happy all the time, that's all right. But you should still be allowed to be upset with the shitty things that happen in your life. Like I was saying, like getting double charged for something when and then making it hard for you to get it back. Like that shit is annoying. But it's like you just gotta like kind of cop that shit on the chin. Like you can't control everything, or this person doing that, or the fact you can't get into a club, or someone's taking too long at a fucking gas station. That stuff is annoying. But once you can get into the mindset of not letting that affect your entire day, and then hence your week, and then your mood, and then all of a sudden it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That brings up something that I think I was gonna say this anyway, but you kind of already led into it. It's a phrase that my grandpa told me, and he was just like, "Oh, your grandma and your mother, they're very worrying people." And he's like, "I have a mantra. It's if you can't fix it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like if you can't play an active role in solving this problem you have,
Just black it out.
Yeah.
just don't even think about it as a problem. Think about it as like, this is how it is. I can't change it."
Yeah, and I do believe that, but people have like posed the question like, well, is that you just submitting? And I'm like, well, no.
I believe, here's my mantra, everything depends on everything. So I believe, situationally, that's the best thing to think about. I would agree with that. But at the same time, if there is something that's even a possible chance of you making it better, I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff-
I'm not saying give up and take it like a bitch. But
Stuff like, you know what, like, let's say Nathaniel breaks his arm right now, and I'm like, oh shit, that kind of sucks. I feel bad. Like, you really can't do anything except just trust the process, you know, and kind of let that then heal and all that. But stuff like, I just pitched like an idea to a company, and they said, not very convincingly, they said, oh, we'll get back to you. You know what I mean? and then you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about that. There's an issue, and I feel like that's where
you should just...
No. I feel like that's where you're like, oh, well, maybe I didn't do so well. Maybe I should show the interest or be able to reinvent what I've done, said, or how I've done it to show them that I am worth this spot.
Yeah.
And instead of just sitting down and being like, oh, I'm anxious, I might not get it, be able to actively try and reinvent the situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like that.
That's fair.
Thank you.
I also think it's very, very important not to despair on such things, like your grandpa said, and like that example says. Like,
Then again, if you don't get it,
Yeah.
that's when you can be like, all right, well,
yeah. But also, if you're in a bad mindset, then you're probably not going to do as best as you can.
no, that's true.
I genuinely believe the most dangerous thing in the world, and that the most detrimental thing to anybody's life or quality of life, is negativity. I mean, within reason, of course. I mean, getting shot's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
But
It's like, I'm great. You know, who needs a sternum?
yeah, negativity. I don't know. That's the one I've never really been able to answer, because people just... It's all just about how
People
you feel.
suck,
you can
man.
go
People
through the same
fucking
fucking
suck.
experience feeling like shit about it, or just feeling it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
breaking your arm, for example. You could cry about it, but like... You could complain about it and be like, oh, why the fuck does this happen to me? Oh my God, I'm so angry. I'm so sad. I'm so negative. But like, just deal, like you just deal with it.
Get a cast, get someone to write the name, like the little S
Yeah.
symbol, the graffiti.
The super S.
And then just be like, all right, well, now I'm clean as fuck, yo. Like, I might not be able to do what I want to do all the time, but now I can
Yeah.
do
And
other shit.
I'm not saying like if you get stabbed and robbed or something, you should. I'm not saying
yeah, your
just
car
deal with
gets
it.
depoed. You don't want to just be like, yeah, that's calm.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I deserve that for being a meter over the line.
Be honest with yourself. Don't despair, and don't be negative.
Because you can't really avoid shit like that. Like, shitty things are going to happen to you, regardless of no matter how positive, no matter how much money, who the people you surround. Shitty things will happen. There will be times where you want to get out of the shitty space you're in as soon as possible. And that's when you can reinvent yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're not earning enough money. Well, I mean, the simple solution would be, well, just work more, get a job. But it's like, well, no, maybe I should not eat a Zinger box every other day. Maybe I should not buy this. Maybe I can wait to buy this fucking hoodie.
Be more frugal.
Yeah.
And you slow down and think about all your options.
And once again, then it comes back to the appreciation of the smaller things and how you don't always need these other things. And whilst they're nice, and whilst that's not saying like, oh, live on a farm and grow your own crops, and that's the only way to be happy.
Yank-a-doodle with my cabbages.
Yeah, that's not it. Because I feel like if I get myself a new fucking shirt, I'm like, yo, I'm fly as fuck. I like this, but it's not the only thing that's gonna bring me happiness.
Yeah,
you need different avenues.
Absolutely. You do need different avenues, and I guess depending on the situation, because there are some things that you can't come back from, really, like
Death.
Say but really, like,
Yeah,
say
Call up
someone,
Lazarus.
Death.
someone-
Like Lazarus bit, yeah. Just chuck him fucking.
What's up?
What's up?
say
Whoa.
someone
We're playing
close to you, dies or something. You can't like just bounce back from that. Well, what
That's
you
what I
can
was-
do,
That's what I was not like alluding towards.
yeah,
but,
I
like,
get you. What you can do,
shit like that will happen.
shit like that will happen, and what you have to do, what I believe you have to do, is kind of survive. Because if you just let it destroy you, it's going to.
Yeah.
I know it's impossible to say don't feel bad. I'm not saying don't feel bad. You will feel crushed, and that's nothing you can avoid. But you need to be honest with yourself. You are still alive. Do what you can for yourself. Do what you can to try and make yourself feel better. Try so hard not to slip into despair, because it's very hard to get out of there when you're there.
Yeah.
But like, then again, you have to embrace or have like a remedy with the sadness. You have to be able to understand it, because if you just try and brush it off,
Yeah, and that's part
it
of
will come
reinventing
back.
yourself,
It will
isn't
come
it?
back, and then
Yep.
and then it could like last longer, and there's no way I could predict how to react to like my parents dying.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna.
Let's
be
find
able
out.
to
Wow.
My dad's like, I love you. What the No, that's so fucked up. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to predict that.
Yeah, you
So-
can't. That's nothing you can do proactively, really.
So I've kind of just gotta like, because I know it's gonna happen one day. I mean, unless I hit the sack before then.
You get a motorbike. Just
Yeah, just fucking drive into a wall, or walk into platform 9 3/4. Shit pants. But you not watch Harry Potter?
I know what it is, but how would that mean you die?
Because you know how he runs into it, like in the movie,
Uh-huh.
and he has the trolley and he's like running at it. Imagine doing that, but like at 80 kilometers an hour. You just
Oh, I get it. Oh, okay.
I get
yeah,
it,
you
I
like
get
that?
it.
Yeah, in the business we call that a callback.
What?
But
Yeah.
yeah, and that understanding and feeling that sadness, I believe that's part of reinventing yourself. And this is why I say
fully.
we do it all the time. I believe it's built into human fucking nature to reinvent yourselves. It's like a survival mechanism. Well, not everyone achieves it, of course. Not everyone makes it out of it.
Everyone was just happy like all the time. Like, hi, how are you? I'm good. And that's scary, man. Like I've seen like short films about it where people are just walking around and they're just like da 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 da. And it's just like what? Like
Being content and understanding is the best you can hope for.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying you'll ever be happy if that happens. You probably won't. I mean, you might be happy again in the future, but you'll never be happy about the situation. But you can do your best to try and understand how you're feeling and try to reinvent yourself.
It's all a personal circumstance.
I guess
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
Because someone living in like a not as wealthy like area, they have a more likelihood of possibly not being as happy because of the circumstances that they're in. But someone living in, a posh area that has been born into like an inheritance and they live in a fucking like 3-story house, they probably have not more of a chance of being happy because they have different issues to worry about, like social
It's relative, I guess.
social popularity and all this, and that's like like you know what I mean? That's where it becomes personalized.
Yeah. That's where it's like, do you believe that two humans can experience the same emotion for different reasons?
Yeah.
So even if they're like different, they're like crazy all over the place. And I think it's pretty fucked up and unfair, but I believe you can.
Yeah.
Like some poor kid in some slum in Africa that's starving to death.
Could almost have the same like guttural like sadness as a chick that doesn't get her Starbucks.
Dude, fuck. Drop my ice cream cone.
It
Just
just depends
Guana
how
Boy.
you react to certain things.
I've seen people break down because of like
Exactly.
stupid shit like that, and then there's all this other stuff going on, and you're just like, I mean, it's not really that big. Like, be upset 100% because that's you're entitled to be upset, but don't like it. And then if you go and like let's say I'm about to meet Nathaniel and I already dropped my Starbucks and I'm in a shitty mood, and he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, I dropped it. And he's like, oh, that's kind of shit. That's shit. But if I'm like, I dropped it and I make it shitty for everyone, and now everyone's in a bad mood, and someone's like, oh, do you want to do this? no, like I don't want to fucking drop it again. Like that's just such a
fucking butter hands over here.
yeah, like and like that's just such it's so stupid. So stupid.
Like if you're gonna project on other people your negativity and be a cunt,
about like
fuck you.
Yeah, about the like
about like menial shit.
Stuff that like doesn't really concern them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like if you're like, oh, my mom died, but I'm like, fuck, that's fine. But if you're like, yeah, didn't put enough cinnamon in, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Being unnecessarily negative is, I find it annoying.
As you would always say, Mark, no one likes a sad cunt.
I do always say that. Yeah.
The thing is, right? There's one thing that I always just pisses me off, and you know what it is? When they put pickles on my they put pickles on my fucking shit on like at Macca's, and it's just like it just gets on my nerves. Cause I'm like no pickles, and like no pickles, and I'm like no, not one pickle, please and thank you. And then they put it on, and I'm like, it's a simple fucking task. You're getting paid for this. Sorry,
it's alright.
But it's like you're getting paid, and it's like it's not that hard. And then I'm like, I take the pickle off, and I'm like, all right, well now I gotta eat it. And now I'm with my way. I don't make it shitty for anyone else, but I'm like, why? Why? I don't know. This has nothing to do with reinventing yourself, but why put pickles on my burger when I say no? I've asked like 17 times.
It's a little peeve, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big pet peeve.
It's a bit different though. Like,
and I feel like I can be upset about that without me feeling like a shitty person.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But it's like,
Nah, fuck you. You don't want pickles. Fuck off.
Oh, and they gave you a pickle, just take it off.
Yeah.
No, it leaves it like a little taste. It leaves a taste. I can't just take it off and be like, yeah, because there's a taste with it now. And I know there's been a pickle on this burger, which doesn't put me in a good mood. And it's the whole mentality. And when they try and tell me, just nah.
Yeah, so about meditation.
So worked up over a fucking pickle.
There's like atoms of the pickle on the burger.
Yeah, there's like, and
like,
then like this
it's
big
fucking pickle juice.
Yeah, there's like
shit.
There's like bigger things that go on in my life. Like someone's like, oh, like I don't think like I don't like you, or I don't think we should be talking. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of shit. But like small shit like pickles, like that.
Who said that to you, man? Who hurt you?
No,
It's like,
fucked you up.
It's like my wife's leaving me. Like, yo, bro, have you heard about this fucking pickle,
Yeah.
bro? Like, what the fuck?
And they
It's
throw,
different.
Like, a
Yeah.
pickle jar.
It's
at me.
not.
No, but like hypothetically, you know what I mean? If
Yeah,
someone's like, oh, like this or that, or like actually it's like shit that could like probably like affect me. I'm more of like a wow, that kind of sucks, and I'll just like kind of like internalize it and
It's calm.
and work on it myself without like projecting that, because I don't feel like everyone needs to hear about your issues all the time, and I feel like it's good to talk to people, but you know, let's say you're out with friends and you get upset and then all of a sudden you're telling everyone your issues, and everyone's like, did you hear about this? Did you hear about, oh my god, they're going through this, blah, blah, blah. It's this whole thing, and it just kind of gets misconstrued.
Yeah.
And you get away from the point of like what's upsetting you.
That's true.
And then
I also, I want to say this. I want to say this off that, you know. Pickles example aside, because, you know, that's a good example.
That's just like a little thing. Yeah.
They didn't have their pickles
something
aside.
far more extreme, say like the example of someone dying.
Yeah.
I don't think you should just like, I know this is not what you were saying, but hear me out. You shouldn't just shut up and not tell anybody. You should never bottle stuff up like that. And I know we're saying, oh, it's annoying and blah, 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 blah. That's not what we mean. The point, I just believe if you're honest with people, that's the best you can do. If you're like, hey, this is really messing me up badly, I don't know what to do about this, then I think that's fine. That's not even annoying. Or if you just say it how it is, wow. I mean, don't dredge on and, you know, preach the end of the universe, but like, be honest with people. Communicate the truth. Don't beat around the bush and don't overdo anything. Just tell them how it is, and go to people who will support you if you need that, because people will they'll want to support you in that circumstance. People always will. Like, yeah,
it's hard. And you know how like earlier I was like, oh, I feel like on circumstance someone could feel so upset about something as like having a pickle on their burger. I don't feel that gutturally upset, but if I was like, I just yelled for fucking 5 minutes.
Like,
but like,
it's not bad.
as someone else who's like, you know what I mean, has this like someone dies or someone that's struggling for food or money, like I feel like someone could feel like that, but personally, because of like my circumstance, I'm a lot more content with everything I have, and I'm like I don't really feel like that shitty about that. Like if I get a stain, I'm like, all right, well now I got to get it off. You know what I mean? If I have this, I'm like, all right, well now I got to do this, instead of making it a big ordeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But pickles, that's the one thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I won't fucking stand down on that. Never.
Just hold a McDonald's employee by the throat.
You want to give me a bit? My fucking pickles, bitch. Just slap him silly.
That builds into something I was talking about with Nat before the podcast started. Why does it feel so good to be negative?
You guys were talking about that?
Yeah.
Briefly, but yeah.
You think it feels good to be negative?
Yes.
Oh, I don't, but I know a lot of people do. A lot of people
think-
just naturally go towards negativity or pessimistic.
Some people,
behavior.
some, like, I was thinking about this, some, like, people who have nothing better to do with their lives, they'll go out on, like, a night out and just get, like, really shit-faced. And then, like these, like, 40-year-olds who are just, like, have nothing in life. And then they'll go out and just, like hit kids. And, like, they'll go and, like punch on with, like, 18-year-olds who have had one too many and think they're a big man. And I'm like, how? Like, how do you just, like... There are people who are just like, yeah, I'm going to go out tonight and start a fight. Like, that's some type of negativity that I can't like fathom. Like, why?
Yeah.
So I shouldn't do that?
You shouldn't go out and fight people.
Or
Okay, guys, I've got more time to record than tonight. I've got nowhere to go.
here's another one. Like, someone who's always just shooting down stuff, like say, hey man, I have this fucking plan for a podcast, I'm gonna do this kind of shit, and someone would be like, I don't know about that. Nah. Or more like, all right man, but like
do what makes you happy, but I'm just saying what I think. I don't think it's gonna work.
That kind of
that's
shit,
manipulative.
that's manipulative.
Yeah.
But here's, even to an even further extent, and I have people that say this kind of shit, not necessarily about the podcast, but I'll use it as the example. All right, like that's not going to work. Or people just being just negativity about everything, or like say you have an idea or a concept or anything, and people just, I don't understand. I never will understand why people bring stuff down for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will never understand that.
I don't
Because well, I mean, I understand it because
I don't.
they're probably not like happy with themselves, or they don't want someone else to like do better than them. It's an ego thing. Like they see someone that might have an opportunity of having a better situation than them, and they're like,
They thwart it.
Like,
and they're,
fuck
and
this
they're like,
dude.
I don't have that. Kind of want it though. I don't want this person to have it for whatever reason.
I hear that.
It's an ego thing.
Yeah, see, I hear that. I just don't know if I understand it.
I think like in terms of like why people are so negative, I can't remember like the exact. Like, I've watched a few videos on it. But it's like just purely because we, like because we are kind of like negatively attuned creatures, like because obviously threats used to be a big thing, not hugely now. But if something proved to be inconsistent, like if something was positive and negative, you'd trust more of the negativity for safety. So I would say it's much easier to be negative and to be angry about something because it's a more default like status.
It's safer.
Yeah. And then we get into the whole thing about people who have like a higher genetically based happiness and people who are like more genetically based anger. Like there's like a whole
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real like insane topic to think about, that people are like genetically more
it's
happy.
Like, and then it's like and then once you already have that genetics, right, and then you bring up stuff like upbringing and like alcohol or where you live, that all also has to that plays a massive part. Like if you're brought up with parents who like are just like unhappy, that's gonna make the kid usually unhappy.
Yeah.
Usually. Sometimes I could bounce back and be like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that. That's not always the case. You know what I mean?
I think even if they do that, like by instinct, by instinct they will still return to being kind of like that.
Of course.
Bringing it all back, I would like to, I think if you are in a situation like that, like all negative and everything, to answer one of the questions, how to reinvent yourself, I think, based off all this, I think the first step is to just try,
understand what makes you upset.
Understand. And from that, even if it sounds stupid or it sounds hippie or whatever, you just need to try to reinvent yourself, because sometimes you might have no other option. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in this
Just give it
dark,
a
sad
shot.
place
Yeah.
forever, and you don't want to be there.
Just change. Well, just change something.
Just
Or
metamorphosis.
at least try to.
Just change. Have an attempt to change something small in your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Whether that's taking control of
what you
something.
do,
or...
what you wake up, what you eat, how much you exercise. Small steps like that
Yeah, man.
can help you.
Because you might not have another choice. It's better to try to help
Yeah.
reinvent yourself than just be stuck in despair forever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Anyways,
Are we gonna call it a? We're gonna call it a day there.
We're about 46 minutes in. I believe there's a lot more to talk about, so we'll do that
Absolutely.
another
this is
time.
very deep. And can be heavily discussed.
Absolutely. And if you've made it this far listening, I have a interesting announcement. We're going to be doing one-on-one philosophy-oriented videos.
How have we decided on that? Like, is that a given?
Yes, it is. And
Okay, fucking.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and because all of us have so much to say about topics we're passionate about, like this one, for example.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to break it down in a more concreted thing. But this has been good.
Yeah.
And take us out, Jonty.
It's been a pleasure. Check out the socials, the Spotify and the TikTok in the description, and thank you all for listening.
Yep.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
I have an announcement. I need to piss.
Shut up, retard. Thank you so much for listening to Nobody's Group. Stick around for weekly uploads.